So ADA over the past couple of days has been in a corrective move to the downside, and this is following on from my previous update where I mentioned that we needed further confirmation that we were on a bullish trend. And so I've been tracking a WXY structure where this double wave was made up of a three-wave move, and we ended up tapping into the Y wave target. And that was then followed by this corrective move to the downside to form the X wave, and then we saw this push to the upside to form the Y wave. And shortly after the update, we did see a high that played out where we ended up reaching 89.24 cents. So if I bring in the Fib tool and bring this down to 77.81 cents, so what you can see is we ended up exceeding the 1.618 level. And so we could have one of two scenarios in play right now, where one of which could be that we had this WXY structure that played out and the Y wave elongated, which can happen in a bullish environment. And this Y wave would then be made up of a 5-wave move, where this move to the upside formed the wave 1, and this formed the wave 2. This is wave 3, 4, and 5. Or alternatively, we could have had a 5-wave structure as opposed to this WXY structure, where if I was to draw that in, this move here would be the wave 1, this move to the downside would be the wave 2, and this move here would be the wave 3, where we met the minimum requirement, which is the 1.618 level. And then we could have this wave 4 that's playing out right now, and then we could see a final push to the upside to form the 5th wave. And so once again, if I bring in the Fib tool and bring this down to here and bring this up to 88.26 cents, so what I'm looking at for right now is for a WXY structure, which is in play given that we ended up breaching past the previous local low. So if I just remove this Fib tool, so the previous local low sat over here, and you can see that we had a change of character which was triggered, which further confirmed that we were on a bearish trend. So what we are forming is a WXY structure where the Y wave would typically reach anywhere between 1 to 1.226. And as of right now, we have reached this level here at 82.69 cents. And so this Y wave did meet the minimum requirement, which is the 61.8% retrace level. And so technically speaking, we could have bottomed out at this level and we could see that reversal to the upside. Or alternatively, we could see a slightly deeper move to the downside, but then tap into the range, and then we could see that move to the upside. And for this 5-wave structure to be in play, what we need is for the wave 4 to not breach past the wave 1 or the wave 2 origin. And that level sits over here at 81.61 cents. And so if the wave 4 ends up exceeding this level, that will then invalidate this 5-wave structure. And instead, what we could have forming is a bigger WXY structure to the upside that I also talked about in my previous update, where in essence, this structure here could form the double wave, and this corrective move to the downside that we're witnessing at the moment could form the X wave, and then we could see that reversal to the upside where we can then begin to track the wave Y. Now, it is also worth noting that the wave X could go slightly deeper, given that the wave X typically retraces anywhere between 50 to 18.2% of the wave W. So if I remove this Fib tool and bring in a new one, and so the wave X, if it's in play, has the potential to reach anywhere between 76.93 cents to 82.04 cents. And if that's the case, what we could have forming is a bigger WXY structure to the downside, where this structure here could form the double wave, and we could see a small recovery to the upside to form the X wave, followed by a fan push to the downside to form the Y wave, and that in turn would then complete the wave X. And then again, we can then see a reversal to the upside where we can then begin to track the wave Y. Now, the bearish case would be for the price of ADA to continue to see low lows. So if I just remove this and remove some of this, so what we could see forming is a bigger WXY structure to the downside, where this 5-wave structure formed the double wave, and then this corrective move to the upside formed the X wave, and we could see that push to the downside to form the Y wave, where that Y wave could then tap into this range that I also set out previously. But for now, I'm tracking either a WXY structure to the upside or a 5-wave move. And if it turns out that we ended up bottoming out at this level here, so again, if I just remove some of this, just so it's more clearer. So if it turns out that we ended up bottoming out at 82.69 cents to form the wave 4, then it's very much possible that we can then begin to track the wave 5. And the wave 5 has the potential to reach the typical range, which is anywhere between 1.236 to 1.618 of the wave 4. And that region sits between 90.86 cents to 93.54 cents. But again, for that to be the case, what we need is for the wave 4 to not breach past the wave 1 or the wave 2 origin. If it does so, then it's possible that what we're forming instead is a bigger WX structure to the upside. Or alternatively, if we get rejected at this level, which is the local top at 89.24 cents, then it's possible that we are bearish and we could see a deeper move to the downside where we then tap into this range. But of course, that's something I'm going to be tracking in the days and weeks to come, and I'll keep you guys updated. And so, yeah, that's just my update on Cardano ADA. Hopefully you found it useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit the like button, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.